Yeah, I've got your bracket up.
Okay, so this is my official, like, the bracket I'm going with and I feel the most confident with. So, what I did is gonna go through, and yeah, there's a lot of chalk this year, but it's a lot of it is the reason why is because it's so hard to analyze these teams with the conditions that they played in, as well as just the very few games they played, and it's hard to gauge a lot of these teams that are kind of in the ranking like six on. Um, so we start out on the top left, going down the screen for the first round. Gonzaga obviously a shoe in to win that game over the 16 seed Norfolk. I got Missouri. You could say upsetting Oklahoma because they're a seed lower, but I think Missouri is just the better team or will play better, I think, defensively against Oklahoma. So that's who I'm going with. Creighton, I think, is going to run away with this game. Virginia, I think, coming off of uh, disappointing tournament runs the last few years, will win this game and move on to the second round. USC, I think, will beat Wichita State. Kansas, obviously, I think they're going to win. Oregon, I think, will win against VCU. VCU is a strong upset candidate here, but I do think that Oregon will pull it out. So that's who I have winning. Then I have Iowa winning this game against Grand Canyon. Moving on to the next category, that's School Up North. I have them winning against Mount St. Mary's. I have LSU over St. Bonaventure. I think LSU is just playing better. Then here comes my 5-12 upset. So I think this is the 5-12 upset that I think is the most likely, and the reason why is because I think Colorado has been a little disappointing as of late, whereas Georgetown I think has been playing super well as of late and coming off of a Big East tournament championship run. They're kind of on a high, and usually teams coming off of a high of their championship run in their tournament walk into the first round of the tournament and play very well. So I think that's where the upset's going to happen. Then I think Florida State over Greensboro is a shoe-in. Another upset alert here. I think Michigan State is going to shock BYU. I think Michigan State's a really good team that's just played very inconsistently. But I think if this game goes right, which I think it will, I think Michigan State comes into this game, rights the ship, and plays to their potential and upsets BYU here. I know BYU played very well in their conference championship against Gonzaga and only lost by 10 points to a number one seed that a lot of people, I'm sure, are going to pick to win. But I think that BYU gets shocked here by Michigan State playing very consistently, very well, and coming off of kind of a disappointing regular season, wanting to make a little bit more noise in the tournament. Texas comes in, wins this one. UConn, I think, wins against Maryland, although Maryland might upset them. So that's another one that I would like to pay attention to because I think that's another chance of an upset there. Alabama, I think, wins that one very easily. Going into the first round on the right side, Baylor wins that one very easily. North Carolina, I think, pulls it out over Wisconsin. I think they're just the better team. Villanova beats Winthrop. I think they're, again, the better team. Not really worried about that 5-12 upset at all. Purdue over North Texas. Texas Tech, I think, pulls it out. Arkansas, I think, wins. Florida wins. Ohio State wins. So that one's very chalk. The better team wins pretty much all the way down the line there. And then I think Illinois wins very clearly. Loyola Chicago, I think, pulls it out against Georgia Tech. Tennessee wins over Oregon State. Oklahoma State beats Liberty. And then I think Syracuse goes in and upsets San Diego State. I don't know why. That's kind of more of I'm just kind of throwing a little bit of what am I feeling into this one. So that's an upset that I don't really know. I'm not going to endorse it, but I did pick it. So, there it is.
I believe in it, damn it.
Exactly. So then we have West Virginia over Morehead State, and then Houston over Cleveland State. And then moving into the second round, Gonzaga handedly beats Missouri. I think Virginia beats Creighton because I don't think Creighton's that good. USC, I think, upsets Kansas. Kansas has been a little disappointing this year in times where I think they could have been better. So I really think that this is where Kansas drops the ball again and doesn't play well, and then USC ends up winning. I believe Iowa runs away with this one against Oregon. I think that School Up North runs away with that one against LSU. Florida State beats Georgetown. Georgetown does get the upset in the first round, but I think the second round's where they kind of fizzle out. They kind of shot their load for a better, for lack of a better term. And so I think they fizzle out and Florida State wins that one. Texas beats Michigan State. Again, same kind of concept. Michigan State kind of, does their all in the first game to pull the upset out, but then loses to a much better team. And then Alabama wins because I think they're just a better team. Baylor wins over North Carolina. Villanova, I think, will upset Purdue. In this one, it's a 5-4 upset, so it's not crazy, but I think that's what's going to happen. I think Texas Tech, though, upsets Arkansas. I do like Arkansas, and I think they're playing well. I just don't know if they're good enough to continue to win in the tournament, and I think they're going to lose here against Texas Tech. And then I think Ohio State very clearly wins against Florida. Illinois, I think, will dominate Loyola Chicago. Oklahoma State on the kind of reins of Cade Cunningham will end up beating Tennessee. And then I think Syracuse is, again, same concept with Michigan State and Georgetown before them, ends up doing everything they can in the first round, and that kind of their energy is gone in the second. So West Virginia wins. And then I think Houston, who's playing super well this year, ends up winning that one. Moving on to the Elite not Elite 8. Sorry. Sweet 16. Moving on to the Sweet 16, we have Gonzaga over Virginia. Gonzaga is just one of the better teams in the league. I think they're honestly, one of the best teams in the league, so I think they're just going to win that game. Iowa, I think, is also in that category too, where they're just playing super well. School Up North is just also one of those better teams, so they're going to win against Florida State. I think Texas upsets Alabama. I think that's going to be a little bit of a shocker if it does happen, especially because Alabama is playing so well this year. But I do think that Texas pulls out the upset. And then I think Baylor beats Villanova very handedly. Ohio State beats Texas Tech very handedly. Illinois, Cade Cunningham's not enough. And I think Illinois, the better complete team, ends up beating them. And then I think Houston, the better team, beats West Virginia. The Elite 8, we have Gonzaga versus Iowa. I think Gonzaga is better than Iowa if I were to line these two teams up today. So that's why I'm picking that regardless of what happened before. And then I think that School Up North will beat Texas because, again, same concept as the first game. I think they're just better. Baylor versus Ohio State. I think Ohio State would be a 1 seed if it wasn't for Illinois. So in that kind of spirit, I think they're going to be upsetting Baylor here and making it to the Final Four. Illinois is my favorite to win, so I'm having them pull the win out over Houston. I think it's a close game, but I think they end up winning over Houston. Now, your Final Four, not very shocking, not very surprising, not very much happening, super exciting, whatever. But I think it is kind of at least a little fun because you get to see two incredible matchups if this does end up coming to, which is Gonzaga versus that School of North playing, which are two of the better teams in the country, playing against each other. That would be a game to watch and would be awesome to watch. So I'm hoping that does happen. And then Illinois versus Ohio State, got to have the rematch of the conference championship, which ended in overtime with a 2-point victory to Illinois. So I'd love to see that rematch and see how it comes out on top. Now, I do think that the two clearly best teams in the nation right now do come out on top, in my opinion, in this tournament. And so you see Gonzaga versus Illinois in the championship, which I think Illinois pulls out the win. And I have the score at 84-81. And that is where I think that is going to go. And this is my main one. This is the bracket I think is going to happen, at least the most likely to. And I really, really think Illinois feels like the best team in the nation. And then the other thing, too, with Illinois, which is kind of hard to explain, but if you're a sports fan, I'm sure you get it, is in the end, in Major League Baseball, too, you kind of feel it, where there's like this magic about the team where they are just going on this magical run. And it just feels right. And that's how I feel about Illinois. I just feel like they're going on this magical run, and I feel like they're going to win it. So anything that shocks you in that? Anything you want to highlight? Or
I don't know. I don't follow college basketball other than to fill out brackets, and obviously went to Illinois for a little bit. So, I mean, go them. Pretty much where I'm at with it.
Yeah, no, I
I'm there for
agree.
the
This year,
gambling.
well, and this year too is one of the hardest years to like. If you haven't followed college basketball this year, you probably didn't follow much either because it's been such a weird year. So yeah, it's hard. Like I said, this year's so hard because typically you get a little bit of a beat on teams. So like those 5-10, those 5-12 upsets, kind of like make sense. Like for example, like one of the most perfect examples is like Marquette against Murray State. Murray State at the time had the point guard for Memphis. I cannot remember his freaking name to save my life. But anyways, they had the point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies in the NBA right now, who was clearly one of the best players in college basketball and was the point guard, which guards usually play very well in the tournament. I didn't see it. I thought Marquette, who had Marcus Howard at the time, who was a point guard who scored like 30 a game, I thought he was going to be able to pull it out, but it turned out that they won. But at least that year, you saw that 12 ranked team had an NBA player on their team at the point guard position, which was crucial, and you felt like they were going to win or they had a chance to. This year, it's so hard because I don't know any of these teams very well because it's just I wasn't able to watch a ton. Like I just don't know. I don't know them well enough to be like, hey, I think that they actually are going to win it because of this.
Yeah. No, same thing. I was even thinking about that. I was like, oh, it's gonna be really cool to see like a tournament and really exciting. Still, without fans, it's gonna be really weird.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
I
like even
mean,
if there's like a complete like buzzer beater, it'll just be like, yay.
well, that's the other thing too. Is like when you as a player hit your second three in a row or third three in a row, like the crowd feel like you feel that energy. Not only do you feel that energy, but you feel it inside you, like, oh, I'm heating up, kind of thing. And then you feel the crowd with you on that. It changes how you play and it changes kind of the energy you have. So I'm really curious to see like at the end of games how these games go. Like, our team's going to have the energy to like compete with a team that like is a team that's not as good going to have the energy to compete with a team that's better than them if they don't have the crowd energy rolling with them hoping for the underdog.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I would probably follow similar to your bracket because it seems like the higher seeds always make it to the end, like no matter what, even if you get a fun upset in the beginning, like first round, but eventually, they always get churned out. They always get filtered out, so it's the top seeds left.
Well, and it's only like the Wichita States of like 2013 or the Kemba Walker UConn teams. Like those are the only teams that like are like, when Kemba Walker was on UConn when they were a 9 seed. Like those are the only teams that make it to the championship is because they have a player that is clearly better than everybody else in the country or is just going off. And I don't really know any teams that have that. Like, yeah, Oklahoma State down in the bottom right has Cade Cunningham, who's the best player in the country. Yeah, like I said, Illinois to me just feels like it's the team. Like it feels like Illinois is that team that is just going to like not only do they have an all-around great team, but they also have the players that step up and make the shots. And I think that's just like they just feel magical for me. So I think Illinois is going to win it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm just with them because, like, not again. I don't know anything else. I went there. That's cool. I'm excited to have something to watch that seems somewhat fun and important, and also short. I don't care about basketball right now. I could give a shit about baseball, unfortunately, and hockey not really either. At least this is like ground down into a couple of weeks. Is like a fun little tournament. So
Yep, yep. It's definitely not only something to watch, but it's a little bit of excitement to kind of spark or spike or spice up the monotony of everyday, going through COVID. I think this is kind of at least something that's fun that kind of ignites everything, and it's also something that you can do like you don't have to do with like you can do with other people, but don't have to be in the same room to do. So it's like it's
yeah,
nicer that way because it's like kind of fits right now. But yeah,
no, I'm looking forward to starting it out. It'll be fun. If there's any like crazy upsets, maybe there'll be memes and things to follow, anyways. So that's always fun. It's just
yep,
a content source. It's off season for anything else I actually care about a lot. So I'm excited for it. Gambling,
yeah.
woo.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know. That's what I already made a huge bet, so we'll see.
Oh,